Good morning and welcome to today's International Space Station Update Hour. You're joining us here inside of the International Space Station Flight Control Room, where the Orbit 2 team is currently on console, monitoring all of their respective systems on board this orbiting laboratory. Today's team is being led by Flight Director Courtney McMillan there on the right. Joining her at the Capcom position is Anna Fisher, serving as the communication link between controllers here on the ground and the astronauts up in space. And those astronauts right now are the crew of Expedition 32, being led by Russian cosmonaut Gennady Padalka there in the middle, currently on his fourth flight, his third of which on the International Space Station. To the left is another Russian cosmonaut, Sergei Revin, a rookie on board the station on his first space flight. And there on the right is NASA astronaut Joe Acaba, veteran of one shuttle mission STS-119, on his second flight. Getting right into the cruise day, here we can see Joe Acaba working inside the International Space Station. He was busy doing some work inside of the ATV cargo transfer vehicle. All three of our astronauts on board have been doing that throughout their day today. Acaba was installing a few stowage rack adapters inside of that unmanned cargo craft to allow for some trash to be transferred over to it in order to make room for some items that will be coming up on the HTV transfer vehicle, the Japanese unmanned cargo craft, which will be launching a little bit later this month. Aside from that, Acaba is also doing some work today with the BASS experiment, or the burning and suppression of solids, which burns different fuel samples in that microgravity environment to study how flame reacts and the best way to suppress those flames. You can see Acaba here working with the microgravity science glove box on that a little bit earlier today. Aside from that, he was doing some routine cleaning on the station's clean bench, checking its relief valve and a few of the microscope controls, and also doing another battery swap today on the station's Earth Cam, which he set up earlier this week on Monday for students around the country to control via the internet to take different pictures of different geological features around the planet. Moving on, Commander Padalka was also again working with that ATV cargo vehicle, doing some cargo transfer operations. He's also doing some routine cleaning and filter replacements on the station's Zarya module and on the Russian segment. He'll be cleaning out a few of the dust collectors and changing out some filters to ensure that the astronauts' breathing air is being cleaned appropriately to make sure their atmosphere is safe for human habitation. And aside from that, he'll also be doing some monthly maintenance work on the TVIS, or the treadmill with vibration isolation and stabilization, one of a suite of exercise devices on board the station for these astronauts to keep their bodies in top shape as they look to combat the negative effects of weightlessness. You can see the TVIS here. It's basically a treadmill with a harness on it that keeps the astronauts from floating away and actually puts some force down on them so they can run and keep their cardiovascular health up, and also put some pressure on the bones in their legs to help combat any of the loss in bone density that they're prone to. Then our third Expedition 32 crew member, Russian cosmonaut Sergei Revin, started off his day early today with taking some blood and saliva samples for the Russian immuno test. This is something that Commander Padalka was doing yesterday. It looks to track the changes in stress and how it affects the human immune system, and has some direct implications for people down here on Earth. He'll be taking those saliva and blood samples and also urine samples and taking a few stress tests throughout the day. And all that will be tracked by people down here on the ground. He's also working with the Russian relaxation experiment, doing some hardware setup and running a few test runs. That relaxation experiment looks to determine the effects of propulsion system exhausts on the Earth's upper atmosphere, and then different optically sensitive surfaces on board the International Space Station, such as windows, equipment lenses, and solar array panels.